Hello. Today we're going to launch into another new unit as we get nearer to the end of the semester. We're going to go into Unit K on the judicial branch, the third and final of the three main branches of government that check and balance each other. So hopefully you've had a chance to read Chapter 18 about the federal court system and preparation for this unit, and then we'll be doing several activities with the Supreme Court and some landmark cases. As you know, Article 1 and 2 of our Constitution sets out the groundwork for the legislative and the executive branches, and now Article 3 of our Constitution creates the Supreme Court and allows Congress to create a system of inferior courts, the lower federal courts. And there you can see from your reading there are two types of courts, the constitutional courts and then special courts that do deal with issues having to do between trade or tax and things of this nature. A few vocab words for this unit are jurisdiction. Jurisdiction means the authority to hear a case. In this case, exclusive and concurrent jurisdiction, as well as original and appellate jurisdiction, are vocab words you should become familiar with. Exclusive jurisdiction, as the name would intimate, means that only that court can have jurisdiction in that case. Concurrent means it could be tried in federal or state. Concurrent. Original jurisdiction obviously means that's where the case originated. It began. If you're not happy with the results, you could appeal it to an appellate court. And at that point, that court would have what's called appellate jurisdiction. The power to appoint these federal judges, including Supreme Court justices, as we mentioned last unit, falls on the president himself. Most of them, of course, are drawn from legal scholars, high-profile attorneys, professors at law, or lower court judges. However, occasionally a president can choose somebody who he deems wise that may not fall into those categories, as long, again, as it's confirmed by the Senate. They're appointed for life, so there's obviously a lot of power for these federal judges, including the Supreme Court justices. There's 94 federal court districts. Michigan has 2. All states are guaranteed at least 1 federal court district to handle the federal cases in their state. There's also, as we said, the international trade and the appellate courts as well. Obviously, the Supreme Court here is at top, and your case may work its way up if you challenge some act of the government. As of the taping of this video lecture, these 9 sit on the Supreme Court. 2, as I mentioned earlier, have been appointed by President Barack Obama, these 2 latest additions. And the Chief Justice is Roberts here. Some, as you can tell, are getting quite old and may retire or could die, and then whoever is the sitting president at that time would be required to appoint a new Supreme Court justice who could determine important decisions for our country that apply. For example, most recently this past summer, the issue of same-sex marriage. A decision was handed down which will affect our social makeup of our country quite significantly. So that shows you the power of the Supreme Court, and we'll be taking a look at that from a Christian viewpoint soon You're going to be asked to apply your own biblical knowledge.